if there are shenanigans going on, perhaps the people involved in that should have built themselves a wider margin of error. Maybe they couldn't. Maybe they're just rubbing our faces in it. Who knows? We do know that big tech is censoring President Trump. They immediately did this. Big technology censoring the President of the United States on election night. As far as I'm concerned, so I know that phrase is controversial now, but as far as I'm concerned, the government can break up Twitter. Twitter has committed a fraud. They've committed a fraud on how people use that platform, how they gained the control of the public square and our public discourse. Right? You thought you were getting one thing, you were getting another. You thought you were getting an open platform where you could follow people and actually get their tweets and say what you want to say. And then you got something else more akin to a publisher, which brings us into another fraud. They're getting liability protection through Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. Shouldn't be getting that. And though Twitter, I don't think, has a monopoly, big tech generally has a monopoly on information. Break it up. Break it up. I don't want to hear any ridiculous, frivolous arguments about how it's a private company. Well, sort of. Private companies aren't allowed to commit fraud, first of all. They're not allowed to get liability protection that they're not deserving of, that they are not abiding by the rules of. But as a broader political issue, this system is crumbling. The legacy media has completely beclowned itself. The pollsters are done. There is no reason to listen to these pollsters again. But certain vestiges of it remain, namely big tech. Big tech still has a lot of power. And we're checking these numbers even as they come in. You got to break that up. You've got to break up these big technology companies. What they censored here is that President Trump said, "We are up big, but they're trying to steal the election. We will never let them do it. Votes cannot be cast after the polls are closed." They said some or all of this content shared in this tweet is disputed. And disputed by Twitter because they're upset because they don't want to be found out. Might be misleading about an election or other civic process. Hillary Clinton said, one of the leaders of the Democratic Party said, Biden shouldn't concede under any circumstances. Elected officials said Joe Biden won before Election Day. That's not sufficient evidence that some people in this country are trying to steal the election? Obviously, some people, and I'm not saying everybody's trying to steal the election. I'm not saying that the election is going to be stolen. I'm not saying that either. But some people are trying to do it. What Trump said, 100% right, doesn't matter. They're going to censor him for it. I hope you enjoyed that short segment from the Michael Knowles Show. Be sure to check out the full episode linked in the description or download the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts.